Soulja Media, Soulja Arts. Uh, this subject is about the essence of spirituality and what spirituality actually is. And it's very difficult to pinpoint this if you don't have a sharp enough mind in today's world because there's so many spells, there's so many words and they want you to start studying things called etymology just to actually pinpoint what certain words mean. And one of those words that you really can't pinpoint is spirituality, or and what even a soul. I mean, now if you do the history on soul, you see that means energy, radiant energy, or vibrational energy. But spirit is something different. Spirituality and soul. These are what we think. This is what we think on a day-to-day basis. That spirituality and soul are just completely opposite of each other, or even that they're separate, but it's in reality this is just one thing. And it goes back to your condition, your preset condition as being a human being, and a lot of these religions, they believe that, I mean, a lot of the most popular world religions, they believe that you were born a sinner. And this all goes back to the system of thought that the indigenous people who created what we call the spirituality in which we use, they actually, they didn't make up the word sin and shit, but they actually made up the thought process of being a born sinner. And it's kind of, if you take the phrase born sinner, you're literally supposed to break that down, and it's supposed to mean, from an indigenous aspect, if you're an indigenous person, born sinner is really supposed to mean you have a preset disposition as a fucking human being. You are limited in what you are able to do as a human being, and you were vibrating now, but you literally came from stillness, nothingness. You started vibrating to experience yourself. That's just another side of the spirituality. But we trying to pinpoint spirituality specifically. So you have to see that this disposition of being a born sinner on earth is what traveled down more than anything to our present world. And every system of spirituality that we know of, it is taking a disposition of the Gnostic most of the time, which is this born sinner mind state also. So, I mean, this is not something you can have an opinion about, really. You feel me? It's just it's not something that you could, it's not something that you could judge, being a born sinner. When you hear this, you're not supposed to say, this is a good idea, basically. It is literally a process that you can observe. That's the only thing you can see it as. That a baby comes from a woman's womb. Now, we have the technology to study it visually nowadays to see what happens. And once we track this over a span of time, we see that the baby comes from nowhere almost. Okay? And that's how it may seem, but you know that there's a process to that. And that's key because during those times you are gaining the essentialness of what you call your soul and your spirit. And your spirituality is actually an expression of that very time. Everything that you're going through life is an expression of that very original time that you came into this existence. The same way they tell you about the Big Bang, boom, out of nowhere, our whole universe came out of nowhere. Every time a baby is entering this earth, there's a Big Bang. A mini Big Bang going on inside of the female as a coalition between male and female. So you have to know that. You are in a existence in which your soul has been trapped in a way. That's the output that you're getting from spirituality most of the time. Now, you have to understand that this is not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. This is what shakes your life up a little bit, because you are stillness, you are God, you are, you feel me, peace. You are not, you feel me, you have the essentialness of chaos inside of you because you are here right now. If it wasn't for chaos, if it wasn't for destruction, there wouldn't be a sequence. There wouldn't be a chronological order of things. There wouldn't be a timing. I don't believe in time. Soldiers don't believe in time. We know time is an illusion, but there wouldn't be a illusion of time. So, since chaos is what your the essentialness of your spirituality, you have to see that your soul is being it's only way your soul can express itself is through chaos. That means that there's a point in time where indigenous people saw that us as human beings are actually not really here. And in order to prove that, they started a system, a process of understanding, a process of observations around them. So, for example, if I walk up to you and say, hey, for some reason I don't feel like I'm actually a human being, one of the first things you're going to say is, most likely, most people are going to respond, then what are you? And that itself is spirituality right there. Because the process of you telling that person that you don't think you're a human being is a part of the universe trying to figure itself out. Now, that 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 whole phrase, the universe trying to figure itself out alone, is kind of confusing. So you need to see it in a simpler light. So I'm gonna give it to you like this. That is you becoming a better you. Okay. Now, in order for you to become a better you have to go through this whole process called life, which is actually nothing but spirituality. We become numb living in this robotic world to the actual spirituality and the process of observation that our ancestors passed along to us to be able to realize that we are actually not just these bodies that we imagine to be separate from the universe. In reality, once you realize you are connected to the universe, you don't have a spirit anymore. You don't have a spirit, you don't have a soul, any of that shit. Once you have a mystical experience of that level, then you see that this is all a process. And for you this is a process of processes. So when you were born, this is actually a statement of your soul entering this reality, meaning somewhere in the physical rawness of infinity of energy, you did something, or something did something to you. You interacted with something else for the first time ever. And as a result of that, the effect of that your energy spread throughout the universe in the same way that there you can see a Big Bang. And when that happened, part of it got trapped here, but you were also present wherever the distance of that energy may have gone. So you're not only on Earth, on every planet in our fucking solar system. You're on every planet, you're in every electromagnetic force field that was in the range of you expressing yourself as the God you are, as the infinite soul you are out there in the universe. And a part of it got trapped here. And you were only experiencing that part right now. But you were connected to the rest of it. And you were also still floating up there in your infinite innocence as whatever you are. Might be a gas cloud, might be a whole bunch of rocks fucking around with each other. Whatever your original raw essence of energy is out there in this infinite plane. Now, you're gonna have to let this gyrate in your brain for a couple of times. Please watch this video at least 3 times, bro, so you can actually get the essence of what I'm saying, because if not, you're going to end up becoming a victim of religion. All religion is a group of spiritual people being led astray. And that's because they don't realize the Gnostic and the indigenous understanding of life. You can even go to the Buddhas and the Hindus, some Zen Buddhists, Taoism. They understand this predisposition of the human being. And once you understand this predisposition and you start your journey to becoming what they call quote unquote enlightened, which is just to have a pure experience, so they will trigger that synchronicity of you understanding that you are in sync with the universe, and that this is just a process going on at this stage of infinity. And in that very small amount of time that you realize that, it will be worth you living out this experience, because you know that you don't have a choice, and that there's nothing to fucking lose, and that you are expressing yourself through being here. And if you don't do that, then there's a strong chance that you will have quote unquote bad energy go back to your original body, or bad karma, or whatever, which will begin this cycle of back and forth. So watch this again and again and understand who you actually are.